Alright, it's the Filmmaker here. Today we have the Neewer F700 on-camera portable monitor. It's a super bright monitor. Now before we go into the features and overview and how I'll be using the F700, I just want to let you guys know that Neewer did reach out to me, asked if I wanted to review the F700, and I said yes. No money changed hands. Everything I say is my own opinion from using it for the past 2 to 3 weeks. Didn't even get to see this video before you guys. First impression I had about this monitor just after unboxing it and taking it out of the pack was how light this monitor is, especially for a 7-inch monitor. And I can attest to that because it's made of a plastic build, which is also very rigid. I've had it thrown in my backpack without any issues. The body hasn't really scratched. I think it's okay. This monitor is 2000 nits in terms of the brightness. It's a cloudy day here in London, and I can still see I'm not even having it at the full brightness. If I turn it up, all the way up, you can see it's super bright for me, but I can turn it down to say around 35% and I can see it very well. And you can get this for $270 if you go for the full kit, which comes with 2 batteries, a host of HDMI cables, micro to full HDMI, mini to full HDMI, and full HDMI to full HDMI, and USB-C to A cables, so you can recharge the Sony NPF batteries that will come in that full kit. I can get a cheaper option which will come with just 1 battery, or you can buy without the battery, which will be the cheapest option. I think that goes for about $230. It's HDR ready. I don't see any reason to use this with a sun hood, but just in case you wanted to get a sun hood, you can buy it off the Neewer store for I think just under $20. Another thing I like about this monitor is that it has auto dimming. This is a feature I haven't seen on any other monitor. It's a feature that comes mostly on phones. So you have the auto dimming feature if you want to use that. If you're under sunlight, it adjusts the brightness to accommodate that, so you don't have to be manually adjusting the brightness of the monitor. Or if not, you can just adjust it manually to your desired brightness level. This monitor has a plethora of connections, but at the top of the monitor you have the power button, then 3 function buttons, also custom buttons that you can assign specific things to them so you can quickly access them. And to the far right you have the back button. There's a menu set button to access the menu, and then a plus and minus button to quickly navigate through the menu system if you don't wish to use a touch function of the monitor. Also to my left, or on the left side of the monitor, you have a HDMI out and HDMI in, and this HDMI in and out accept up to 4K 60p. There's also a DC input which accepts up to 12 volts to power up this monitor. At the bottom end of the monitor you have a headphone jack which is 3.5mm. You also have DC out, which it can output up to 8.4, so you can power your camera or any other accessory that uses that voltage or rating or power rating. There's also USB-C, so you can power this monitor via USB-C. And there's also the SD card slot, so you can load custom LUTs, and also the ability to update the firmware of this monitor if you want to do that. There's also 2 /20 mounting points, one at the bottoms here and one on this other side with RE locating pins. So at the back there is 2 slots for Sony NPF batteries, and also a space there for the fan exhaust. I'm talking about the fan. I've never had an issue where I had the fan spin out so loud. It's currently set to auto, and even when filming in direct sunlight, monitor at full brightness, I've never had or heard the fan spin so loud to affect my audio. When it comes to glaring and reflection, this is something very important to talk about when it comes to monitors that at this price range. I'll have you come closer to the monitor. Let's see. It's a cloudy day, not too much sun. The sun has been going in and behind the clouds, and although it's facing directly into the sky, I'm seeing a bit of reflection, but it's not an issue. It's not distracting to me. I can see my framing right, the building in front of me if I hit record, and I have no issues with what I'm recording. I can increase the brightness, which is at the maximum, or reduce it to maybe 50%. Not as bright as before, but I can see what I'm filming very, very well. So I think in terms of glaring and visibility and reflections, I have no issues whatsoever with the Neewer F700. Since the start of this video, we've been filming with the Sony NPF batteries. I now have a V-mount battery. I just want to quickly show you guys that you can power this monitor through the V-mount battery, also power via USB-C. So I'll take out my camera's battery, quickly take that out, put it aside, put my dummy battery, install that, take out the monitor's Sony NPF batteries, so it's hot swappable, put those aside, and then connect my USB-C cable. So I have this long USB-C to C cable at the bottom here, kind of wrap it around so it's neat and tidy, and plug the other end into my V-mount battery. And then same thing for my dummy battery, wrap it around nicely, and plug it into my V-mount battery, and then screw that in and lock it. And I'll turn on my camera is on. I had the shutter open up and then power on the monitor. And that's it. So I can pretend to be filming and I can see everything I want to see with no issues at all. So that's an easy way to power your monitor if that's the kind of style you want to do without using the Sony NPF battery, and add some kind of balance to your grip. So you have it back heavy and not forward heavy with the Sony NPF batteries. One common mistake, or one popular mistake a lot of filmmakers do, is not get the right exposure while shooting, and that's where this monitor comes in really handy. So I'll be showing you guys how to properly get the right exposure instead of trying to recover things in post, saving you time. The Neewer F700 has a plethora of exposure assist tools. If I double tap, the first one under exposure assist is false color. If I go into my false color and press spectrum, there's also the ARRI, but in spectrum, you can see that some parts in my frame are overexposed, and I can adjust my aperture, bring it down just to make sure it's properly exposed. I can put my skin there. I can see my fingernails are overexposed in the red. It's okay. My skin is sitting in the yellow mark. It's okay, yellow and green. That's fine. I like it that way. I'll take out my hand again. I can double tap, go back into the exposure assist in false color, change to ARRI. ARRI, in the ARRI false color setting, you want your skin to be in the pink or purple region. I like how exposed my skin is. I think that's fine. So I think my skin is properly exposed. If I double tap, I can deactivate that by just pressing on close. Can go into the zebra. Zebra works in IRE values. Usually you don't want your skin to be over 65 IRE. If I put my hand in front of the camera, you can see that some parts of my skin is overexposed, and I'll adjust my aperture to maybe say 8.0. I'll put my hand in front of the camera. I can see that just a tiny bit is in the 65, so I can say my skin is properly exposed. And I'll take up my hand, I'll double tap and kill the zebra to 0. So you have histogram where you can place it in any part of the screen. You have waveforms, you have vector scope, and you have all wave. With all wave, if I click open, you have your audio meter, your vector scope, your RGB, and all kinds of things. But the thing is that this reduces the size of your preview skin. I can go into the focus and composition, choose my single color for, if that's what you like. I'll click close to deactivate that, go into peaking. I can set my peaking to red or green, blue or white, which helps you in terms of how sharp your focus is. You can increase the strength of your focus peaking or kill it down to 1. I don't need it, so I'll click close. I think it should have been like turn off. There's also the center mark, which helps you with framing or positioning your subject in the middle of the frame. You can click open to activate it. You can see this is blue, red, green, white, and whatever. I'll click close to deactivate that. There's a safe area. If you need safe areas, I'll click on green, and when I start pulling in, You can see 90%, 85%, 80. I'll take it to close. There's a ratio guidelines, so you can do your rule of thirds and activate or deactivate your audio meters. I'll set it to off. You have your LUT menu where you have the system LUT, like I earlier mentioned. There's 15 different system LUTs, and you can load your user LUTs. There's none loaded on. I'll probably do that later, but just showing you guys. There's also this display settings where you can flip your display. You can also change your aspect ratios to 4:3, 6:10, 6:9. I'm using 6:9, which is also the automatic or default one. There's a zoom if you want to zoom in ×3 or zoom in ×1, or just turn it off. There's pixel to pixel, different scan modes, freeze, battery, and fan, so you can activate or deactivate your fan. I'll set it to the highest. This is at high. I have a lapel mic on my chest, and you might not even hear the fan. I can't even hear it from this distance. My ear is from the monitor, but usually I'd have it in the auto mode. I'll go back to battery and fan and set it to auto. And there's anamorphic, so you can use a popular 1.33. There's a 2.0, or you can just deactivate the anamorphic mode. And the system config, where you can adjust the color, color temperature, backlight settings, sound, and define your hotkeys, where you can say your F1, F2, and F3. Have my F1 set to false color, so if I click F1 on top of the monitor, it activates the false color settings, and I can turn it off. Double tap, go back into system config, and you have your update where you can quickly update the monitor via SD. You have the languages, how long you should stay on for before it goes off, and the status of the monitor that shows you what you're doing. Currently, I'm via HDMI. I have a very weird setup here. This is a Sigma 200mm f2.0, cloudy day, obviously. And I have these two monitors, the Neewer F700 and the Blackmagic Video Assist, 5-inch, 7-inch. And the purpose of this test is to see, is it necessary to spend more money on a 2500 nit monitor against a 2000 nit monitor, which is just $270 if you get the full kit, remember. So if you come closer, we'll look at the each side by side. Have it rigged weirdly, 7-inch, 5-inch, and they're all both on the highest brightness setting. You can see a model posing, photographer doing his thing, and just to confirm that it's at the full brightness, that's full brightness on the video assist. I'll double tap, I'll slide up, click up there, and show that the brightness at 100% brightness. I'll scroll down to clear the screen, and there's not really much of a difference. So you're getting good value on the Neewer F700 at 100% brightness, not much compared to the video assist. I've been filming with the Neewer F700 for the past 2 to 3 weeks on personal shoots and other productions, and I've enjoyed filming with this monitor. It's super lightweight. You can take a beating. I had no issues with the way I've mishandled this monitor. It also has a screen brightness of 2000 nits for a price of just $270, depending on the kit you buy. And obviously you can get it for cheaper if you buy the cheaper kit. But yeah, there are a few things that I've loved this monitor to have. But of course, having those things will increase the price of the monitor. And number one on that list is SDI inputs. So do I really need it? Not necessarily. Most of the cameras I film with have just HDMI, apart from my Blackmagic pieces, which has HDMI via its USB-C port or SDI. But having just HDMI is still okay. Having SDI will definitely increase the weight and price of the monitor. A second thing will probably be maybe a metallic build. Well, I think that's relative to who you are as a filmmaker. Some people don't care. I don't care what build it is. If it's solid, takes a beating, I'm fine. The other thing which is far-fetched would be internal recording. If you're like me who does a lot of review videos, and when it comes to testing lens and cameras, you want to record screen from the HDMI port, will definitely increase the price of the monitor. But apart from those things, I think this is a perfect budget monitor for indie filmmakers I wouldn't say vloggers, because if you're a vlogger, you want to be able to travel light. So except if you have it on a tripod, your camera on a tripod, the monitor on top, and you want to see yourself well and a much wider frame, yeah, this is a monitor I'll definitely recommend. So if you're into filmmaking, starting out filmmaking, looking for a monitor that's super light, budget friendly, and super bright for outdoor filmmaking, the Neewer F700 is a must buy. So that's it for another review video. If you have any questions about the Neewer F700, leave it in the comment section. If you want to buy this monitor, I'll leave a link in the description. It's your Filmmaker, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.